afternoon. The world at noon. Gunmen rob motorists along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Raila Odinga and Williams Ruto in tight race for Kenya's presidency. Severe flood kills 9 in South Korea. 13 killed in artillery bombardment in Russia. In Nigeria, wife of the Osun State Governor Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola has again put smiles on the faces of the survivors of gender-based violence in the state when she hosted them in her office at GRA Okefia Government House, Osogbo. Mrs. Oyetola reaffirmed her commitment with the support of her husband, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, to continue to put smiles on the faces of the people of the state. The chairperson of Southern Governors' Wives Forum identifies leadership as a call to meeting the yearnings and aspirations of the people. At the event, Mrs. Oyetola urged the survivor of the gender-based violence in the state to make judicious use of the cash grants given to them by her office to start a viable business that will augment their means of livelihood. She stressed that one of the objectives of the Southern Governors' Wives Forum is to ensure that gender-based violence survivors get necessary assistance and support from Macanton Foundation and other donor agencies. Highlight of the event was the presentation of cash grants aimed at empowering the survivors of gender-based violence by the wife of the governor, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola. Still on event in Nigeria, a robbery incident has occurred along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway early this morning. Information has it that the robbery happened on the long bridge near Warewa bus stop. A passenger of one of the buses plying the road at the time, named Abayomi, told journalists that many motorists abandoned their vehicles. Confirming the incident, the divisional police officer at the Warewa police station, Abdul Fattah Ogunsoya, said his men at the scene of the crime now could not give details of casualties as at the time on filing him this report. Provisional results in Kenya's presidential election indicate that the margin between the Deputy President Williams Ruto and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is not much. With more than 90% election results from thousands of individual districts, local tallies of the raw data indicate little difference between the duo of Ruto and Odinga. Information has it that it could be several days before the official result is made known to the general public. The election followed an intense campaign dominated by debate about high cost of living, unemployment, and corruption, among others. Information has it that a largely peaceful election day was marked by logistical delays and failure of the identification kit in some parts of the country. The two frontliners in the presidential race are seasoned politicians. Report says the outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta is backing Mr. Odinga, a foe-turned ally, to succeed him after a falling out with Mr. Ruto. This is the world at noon, coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation. Iliawiye Okebale Osogbo, Voice of the West, now a mid-news message. Peace and tranquility are essentials of stability. Let's embrace peace at all times. Several soldiers have been reportedly killed in northern Burkina Faso when a transport vehicle drove over a hidden explosive, killing several troops before the second explosive killed those who rushed out to assist the victims. The army said at least 15 soldiers were killed in the blast. Information has it that no group or individuals have claimed responsibility for the blast in question. The incident occurred on a rural road in the Bam province of the country's central northern region. However, groups linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIL have been active in the region since 2015. It will be recalled that terrorists killed 4 soldiers and 9 civilians army volunteers last week when they ambushed a counter-terrorist operation in northern Burkina Faso. In the meantime, at least 9 people have been reportedly killed and 7 missing in and around South Korea capital Seoul after the city was lashed by heaviest rains in more than 100 years. Information has it that more rains are expected today, but forecasters say it could be less than the downpour of Monday and Tuesday that submerged some streets and buildings, trapping people in flooded apartments and stranding vehicles. The Central Disaster and Safety Countermeasures Headquarters said at least 5 people had died early today in Seoul, as well as 3 in neighboring Gyeonggi Province and 1 in Gangwon Province. Reports indicate that cleanup operation is continuing across Seoul and also in neighboring provinces. Heavy artillery bombardment in Russia has led to the killing of 13 people in Ukraine's commercial nerve center overnight. Governor Valentin Tretoshenko said the attacks occurred at a nuclear plant, which has been shelled several times in recent days. United Kingdom said Russia has created a major new ground forces formation based in the Russian city of Malino to support its operations in Ukraine as Moscow grapples with reinforcing its offensives in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region. The head of Ukraine's state nuclear power farm has given warning on high risk of shelling at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, stressing that it is vital for Kyiv to regain control over the facility in time for winter. Hence, Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of shelling the site. A senior Ukrainian official recalled that series of explosives that killed one and wounded 8 others at a Russian air base in Crimea could have been the work of partisan saboteurs. Kyiv said it was not behind the explosive, which Russia has blamed on the detonation of stored ammunition. And here again are the highlights of the world at noon. In Nigeria, a robbery incident has occurred along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway early this morning. Provincial result in Kenya's presidential election indicates that the margin between the Deputy President William Ruto and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is not much. At least 9 people have been reportedly killed and 7 missing in around the Seoul capital, Seoul, after the city was lashed by the heavy rains in more than 100 years. Heavy artillery bombardment in Russia has led to the killing of 13 people in Ukraine's commercial nerve center overnight. And that was the world at noon by Adeniyi Kehinde. News talk by veteran journalist Prince Adeyeye Oyedokun takes a sweep at the argument against Muslim ticket by the presidential and vice presidential candidates of political parties for the 2023 election and calls on Nigerians to focus more on the inspired leadership to steer the ship of the country.
For some time now, the country's political platforms have been altered by arguments on the preferred presidential and vice presidential candidates for the 2023 presidential race by political parties in view of the Nigerians' perception of religion. The vociferous of argument is the attacks on monocentric religious type of presidency, where the presidential and vice presidential candidates of a political party will be Muslims. This type of selection of candidates for presidential election, popularly called Muslim ticket, has remained for its torrential waves on both non-conventional and conventional media, where opinions and sentiments have been freely circulated. A clinical dissection of divergent views on mono-religious presidential and vice presidential candidates will rekindle the philosophical study of religion, which portrays religion as an essential relationship binding two entities, namely the sacred and mundane. Aside the fact that both Muslims and Christians share the same beliefs of oneness of God or monocentric divinity, the adherents of the two religions also reflects God as a temporal and supratemporal. This expresses the faith of both Muslims and Christians and the common doctrine that God is a being whose existence transcends the realm of time. It is equally important to note that the founders of Christianity and Muslim traced ancestor to Abraham, the father of faith. Arising from the above is a question of what is the rationale behind the over-dramatization of the issues of religious sentiment on good governance and unity of the country. Critical analysis indicates that nearly 100% of those serving as president, vice presidents, ministers, senators, member of House of Representatives, governors and their respective appointees since 1999 in the country are either Muslims or Christians. All of them are sworn into office using either the Holy Bible or Holy Quran. However, it is quite unfortunate that under their watch, the country has been experiencing high rates of insecurity, poverty, unemployment, kidnapping, corruption, infrastructural decay, to mention just a few. It goes without saying that this is quite unpleasant, as all this have not allowed Nigerians to acknowledge the importance of democratic norms and enjoyment of good governance. Having said this, the news talk suggests that Nigerians should seek for God's inspired leaderships at all levels who will be equipped with capacity to take tough decisions, pursue transparency, accountability, and rule of law, as well as ensuring the welfare and security of the governed. The news talk today recalls the situation at independence on October 1st, 1960, when Nigerians jubilated and helped one another that freedom had come. The country's currency was then stronger than American dollars and at par with British sterling. New Talk therefore ignites the inner consciousness of Nigerians of today to a line of the lyrics of the proscribed national anthem, which says, though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand, and shun sentimental veils on Muslim, Christian, and tribal ticket for 2023 presidential election. This is important to make Nigerians disconnect from religious and tribal politics and focus more on the enormous challenges obstructing good governance in Nigeria.
That news talk, written by veteran journalist Prince Adeyeye Oyedokun, called on Nigerians to shun sentimental opinions on monocentric religious presidential ticket. It was presented by Olushola Egbodofor. For more about us, you can visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening to The World at Noon. Good afternoon.